The quickest way to guarantee failure in your fitness journey. Don't be in a rush. So I probably should say it the other way around. Being in a rush is a real challenge and something that I come across all the time as a coach and in my own life as well. Like, we're always in a rush to do something, especially in this kind of modern world where everything's just getting thrown at you. So in this last week, I've spoken to 2 clients, and part of that conversation or those conversations focused on them not getting the kind of muscle development and growth that they want ultimately. And they're not getting it yet, and it was part of the conversation. My first comment was about priorities. Both are in a fat loss phase, and they're both getting good results. So 2 to 3 kilos dropping every month, so that's phenomenal results. And consistently, kind of like 2, 3, 4 months, track record is really good. And if you see their chart, the progress is straight down. So the good results come from taking those actions can get undone by having too many priorities. But by definition, you can only have one priority. So we need to stay focused. And I guess that's my job, is to keep them focused, keep them on track, and keep them not doing silly things that will lead them astray. In this case, dropping fat and keeping that as a single focus. As a side note, for those facing kind of this mental challenge, which I think we all go through, of not seeing muscle development, but needing to drop fat, and I would say that's kind of most guys, to be honest. Stick with the fat loss. The body is not good, not great at targeted fat loss. In fact, it's not a real thing. That's why doing crunches and sit-ups doesn't really give you a 6-pack abs. You need to lose muscle and fat tissue by dropping your calories. That's how it works. And that's why staying strong and having a good fitness plan that's appropriate for you and builds muscle, trying to combat the muscle lost in a fat loss phase, is so important. That's a side note. Listen, I know you want to be jacked and lean AF, hard to kill, which is a term I kind of use a bit more these days. That's a worthy goal. Just don't be in a rush and understand that needs to be broken down into different elements and therefore different phases and a process that's appropriate for the phase that you're in. The way to overcome this challenge is to think about the measuring stick that we use. Becoming a dad, a father of 2 boys, has massively changed my perspective on needing to see the fruits of my labor immediately. Funnily enough, there are 2 big aspects. I mean, there's lots of aspects, but there's 2 big aspects that have shifted. Becoming a father has pushed my time horizons from kind of, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, which is kind of how our brains are naturally wired to get that gratification quite quickly, especially when it comes to fitness and health, when we've got all these distractions out there. And that's been pushed out to kind of 10 years, 5 years, 10 years. I used to think about the goal of getting ripped for the beach or training for a marathon 3 months out, whatever. Now I think about being hard to kill at 50, 60 and beyond. Also, when I'm parenting, I'm thinking long term, because the actions that I take now aren't necessarily going to reap any rewards or benefits for years to come, but they're still absolutely vital and critical. That's number 1, kind of pushing out those time horizons from months to years to decades. Okay, and that's a big shift I've been through in the last 4 years of becoming a dad. The second one is detachment from the outcome. And this is really, really hard. Fitness, life, whatever, need the shift to understand the work is the mission. The work is the mission. The work of raising 2 boys in this world is the mission that I'm on. Okay, that is the goal. It can't be attached to who they will ultimately become, because I'm not in control of that. I don't ultimately know. I don't. Their DNA is partly mine, partly my wife's. The influence of the world, the environment that they grow up in will have a massive influence, and the world has shifted. What I think now highly likely to be irrelevant in 10, 20, 30, 40 years time. I don't have control over that, so I need to detach from it. And they need to go through a process of detach. It's a leadership concept Jocko talks about. So I think about doing the work and the meaningful work, the priorities, and doing the work regardless, and doing the work for the work's sake. Not what you want to hear on a fitness journey. You want to see those results, but the work needs doing. It's worthy of doing. It's who I am inherently. It's part of my identity. That's the shift that I've had to make. 6-pack abs, doesn't matter. Big guns, doesn't matter. 340 marathon, does not matter. Learning to love the process. The work is the mission. That's all I've got for you today.